This has been a really fun gig. I love little rooms like this, and I love being on YouTube eventually. That sounds great. But yeah, not every gig is like this. Like I kind of mentioned before, I had one particular gig that was not great in a town called Fremont, Nebraska. Has anybody here been to Fremont, Nebraska? I'm sorry. I was on tour with my buddy Ryan, and we played in Des Moines and ate some funky burritos. I won't say where we got them from, but it made the drive to Fremont the next day a little harrowing. It was like 100 degrees outside. We rolled into town, and we were playing at this place called the Corner Bar. And we walk into the Corner Bar, and it's air-conditioned and really nice. There's this nice little stage in the corner, and I turned to Ryan and I said, "It's gonna be okay, bud." And that's about when the bartender said, "You boys are on the patio tonight." When I say patio, I mean 4 cinder block walls with no roof, just high enough to block any breeze that could come through, keep the cigarette smoke right where it is. It's a 4-hour gig. Somewhere around hour 3, this lady had been sitting right in the front row, kind of mean mugging me the whole time. She took a drag of her cigarette and she said, "Play some John Denver." I said, "I'm very sorry, ma'am, I don't know any John Denver songs." She took another drag of her cigarette and she said, "Yeah, you do." Well, I still didn't know any John Denver songs, but we got through the gig okay. I think she left not too angry. The next day we're driving out to Colorado. And that drive on 80 through Nebraska is just brutal. I think we were both still feeling the burritos a little bit, and I said, "Can you believe that lady last night, Ryan?" He's like, "You mean the John Denver lady?" I said, "Yeah, the John Denver lady." I said, "Can't believe her." I said, "I mean, we work pretty hard, right?" And he's like, "Well, we work harder than some people, not as hard as other people, but sure, yeah, we work pretty hard." I said, "Thank you, Ryan." So we write pretty good songs, right? And he's like, "Well, better than some people, not as good as most, but, I hear what you're saying." I said, "Thank you." So where does that lady get the nerve to try to tell us what to do on our stage? A little while later, we made it into Colorado, and as soon as you get into Colorado, the landscape starts to change, and it kind of opens up, and there's some geographical features, and eventually the mountains come into view. And that's when I had a realization. That lady lives in Fremont, Nebraska. She probably works really hard, goes out one night a week. She wanted to hear some John Denver, and doggone it, I let her down. Because I think sometimes when you live somewhere that you don't like, and I'm not saying she didn't like Fremont, but I'm guessing she didn't like Fremont. Music is the only way to get away. Art's the only way to get away. And I can relate to that. So I wrote a song about a guy from Fremont who does exactly that. It's called Fremont. Well, the nights out in Fremont are a special kind of thick, where the days move like molasses and the air is wetter than spit. As a kid he'd go swimming in the long and mighty Platte, John Denver on the radio, the sun upon his back. He was raised on good country. Willie, Chris, and Merle kinda looked like Lyle Lovett. Hell, he even had his curls. He'd put Dwight Yoakam on the jukebox down at the Corner Bar. If he ever left Nebraska, hell, he never got too far. But he'd ride through West Virginia on them old country roads. He cut loose in Montana. He never went back home. He's 1,000 miles from nowhere. He's anywhere but here, with that silver-tongued devil always whispering in his ear. Well, his most prized possession in the whole entire world was a 000 Martin that was owned by Steve Earle. He picked it up at Carter Vintage down in Nashville, Tennessee. Crossed the parking lot to Arnold's for some chest pie. and roast beef. He dipped his roll into the gravy, got some extra mac and cheese, put salt on his potatoes, hot sauce on his greens, and he was having him a moment when the phone began to ring. Well, he put that thing on silent, dropped it straight into his tea. Then he rode through West Virginia on them old country roads. He cut loose in Montana. He never went back home. He's 1,000 miles from nowhere. He's anywhere but here with that silver-tongued devil always whispering in his ear. Last verse made me hungry. Well, he spent $3,000 on the outlaw country cruise just to see Lucinda Williams dip her toes into the pool, and he met Jimmy Dale Gilmore, saw Ray Wiley in the second row, ate his weight in soft serve ice cream and burned the shit out of his nose. When he got off the boat in Tampa, he never felt so great. The sun was orange and purple fire. He watched it fade away. He got a motel by the water and a quart of Bombay gin. Walked out in that ocean, let that ocean and drink him in. Then he rode through West Virginia on them old country roads. He cut loose in Montana. He never went back home. He's 1,000 miles from nowhere. He's anywhere but here with that silver-tongued devil always whispering in his ear. Yeah, that silver-tongued devil always whispering in his ear. Oh, that silver-tongued devil was still whispering in his ear. Thank y'all so much. I'm Brian Johannesen. We'll see you next time.